So there has been an apparent onslaught of Nintendo Switch 2 leaks and images and mock-ups just blasting the internet over this past week. And they all are seemingly coming from accessory manufacturers. This is something that we have seen happen in the past, but right now it's like crazy. There's so much going on. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's breaking these images down. Verge articles are getting written about D-Brand and everything that they showed. It's just been crazy. And so you guys are pretty lucky because I just made a video talking about Nintendo Switch 2 image leaks a few days ago, and I did not expect to be making a second one so soon, but here I am talking about this because this is crazy, and I have to wonder what it makes Nintendo think. So I don't even know where to start, man. I don't think that I want to spend any time in this video going over every image leak from every single accessory manufacturer and every single mock-up that's available out there. It's been a handful of days, and more than likely you guys have already seen it or watched other YouTubers discuss it or seen it on Twitter and Blue Sky and any other place that you go to see and read your gaming news and your rumors and whatnot. Reddit and forum boards and all these other places that people go that I don't go. I don't spend my time on a lot of these weird forum board places to get that kind of information because I think it's all kind of goofy and silly. But once I look at it all like aggregated and I can see over the course of the past few days all of this information about D-Brand, this case, these silicone covers, these mock-ups and images of Switch 2 that is apparently coming from people who say that they know this, that, and the other, even though there's no reason to believe it's all 100% fact. Again, when I take a step back and look at it all just aggregated together, it's pretty wild. And some of it's even exciting. I mean, look, man, I'm a Nintendo fan and a game fan just like you. You guys know me. I've been talking about the Switch 2 for frickin' almost 3 years now, probably almost 4 years. And so when I consider the possibilities in looking at all this, yes, it definitely becomes exciting. And so now we have to wonder, A, is it true? And B, like I said in the beginning, what does this mean for Nintendo? The main takeaway I think I have with all of this is that however true and not true all of these images and mock-ups and leaks are, because they could all be true, they could all be fake, they could be half true, half fake, whatever. There's definitely enough velocity happening with so many images and mock-ups and leaks coming out and so many people claiming this, that, and the other. And some of them are very convincing and they make a lot of sense. And there's this discussion about this extra C button underneath the power button on the right Joy-Con, if you're like holding the Joy-Cons or holding the Switch. With all this stuff getting out there, it kind of is turning the eye back on Nintendo, at least in the eyes of the gamer. So the conversation and a lot of people out there are now turning back to Nintendo and saying, Nintendo, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long to reveal and confirm this information that the stuff is getting out there? If it's real or fake or half real and half fake, again, there's enough volume of it that you have to wonder if a lot of it is true or based on truth and based on people who know things from manufacturing plants, to the point that Nintendo might be saying, hey, we're seeing a lot of accurate stuff get out there, maybe mixed with all of this fake stuff. And so Nintendo needs to maybe consider taking action sooner than later by just confirming the facts and showing us the darn thing sooner than later. It's a tough thing to consider, and it's a tough position for Nintendo to be in for sure. The only way I could see this not being a tough position for Nintendo is if 100%, and I mean 100%, not 99, not 99.9, but 100% of every rumored leak, image, mock-up, accessory, the dimensions leaked through the accessories from D-Brand, if all of this stuff, even the fact that someone is claiming they know Mario Kart 9 is going to launch the Switch 2, I mean, that's something else going around out there also. Again, this is coming from freaking Reddit, so, take that with whatever grains of salt you want to take it with. I don't know how much I trust it, but if Nintendo knows 100% of this stuff is fake, then they have nothing to worry about because they know they're sitting on the truth. They're sitting on the real Switch 2, the real launch games, the real specifications and information and images, and they're just watching us laughing to themselves quietly in their boardroom, saying, look at these geeks on the internet and on YouTube with all these fake mock-ups and this fake information, and they're running wild with it. And we're going to just blow it all up as soon as we finally reveal the Switch 2, show them the console, talk about the games and the specifications, and everyone realizes that all of this stuff that went around in December was just wrong. And then everyone is going to look like a fool. Maybe that's what's happening. And like I said, that's the only way I could see Nintendo being very comfortable just letting this stuff playing out and not sweating behind the scenes, because they're going to show us the truth, hopefully sometime soon. However, if we play out the scenario where some or all of this stuff is real, then it's a different story. And so that's why I mentioned a lot of people are starting to say, and I don't agree or disagree with this. I maybe disagree with how some people are going about it, but there's a messaging here that I'm like, I'm 50-50. I'm not trying to fence it. I just kind of believe it 50-50. And it's this idea of people saying, Nintendo, this is what you deserve. You've waited so long to reveal this thing. We're in year 8. We're almost in year 9. The sales of the console have slowed. Yes, they had a lot of games this year, but like half of them were ports and remasters and stuff. So even game output is slowing down, despite having some good games this year. It also is kind of showing signs of being a transition year. And so that's where people are saying, Nintendo, if you take this long and you don't show it to us when we're all ready, then this is what's going to happen. Leaks are going to get out there. People are going to start sharing information. If they work in a manufacturing plant, of course they're going to start sharing this stuff. We saw it with the Switch Lite case many years ago. Somebody in a manufacturing plant took that photo of the Switch Lite case, and a lot of us didn't believe it, myself included, and it turned out to be real. Somebody just sitting at a plant where these things are coming off an assembly line took a picture, and it was the real device. So there's precedence for someone in certain positions to know and share real information. And again, I'm not claiming that we know all of this stuff out there is real. It's just possible it's real because we've seen it happen. And so to bring this back, I keep kind of jumping all over the place here because there's so much to talk about. I don't know that I agree with the sentiment that Nintendo is getting what they deserve. If some of this stuff is real, I don't think that Nintendo's getting what they deserve because they've taken so long. But at the same time, I do think it's fair to say that we're past the point where Nintendo probably should have just revealed this thing also. So that's that 50-50 part of my brain. Hopefully you guys can understand why I say I agree and disagree. I think Nintendo has a right to conduct their business in secret in the way that they choose to. Whether it ends up being a good or bad business decision, we'll find out later. But they have a right to just wait until whatever they have on their roadmap is what they do. So if they don't want to reveal the Switch 2 until January or March or June or whatever they want to do, they have a right to wait and do it at that time and not get like punished for it, so to speak. But again, when you just look at the business, the cadence of new games, the fact that the consumer is hungry, the slowing of the sales, I also do think that business-wise it would have been smart for Nintendo to have already revealed this thing, or at least given us the date of the reveal. Tell us in the first week of December that in the first week of January you're going to reveal it. Let us know weeks ahead of time. What is it really going to hurt? I don't buy into this concept about holiday sales of the current Switch being affected. Dude, in 2024 December, Nintendo Switch 1 sales, even OLEDs and lights and whatnot, no one really cares. No one's really buying it to any important degree. I think Nintendo can, take their foot off the gas and just allow the hype for their next generation to start right now, even before Christmas. I think they could have done it even before Black Friday at this point. But they haven't, and so that's where this whole thing just gets very messy for me. I do want to look at 2 points when it comes to some of these mock-ups and images, though. And again, these are coming from all over the place, man. They're coming from Reddit. They're coming from accessory manufacturers. They're coming from people claiming to know what it actually is and looks like and making mock-ups based off of what they're claiming are actual facts, even though, again, nothing is confirmed. But I want to look at these things. I want to look at these images that, I won't lie, I'm a little confused on what they're actually like supposed to be, as goofy as that may sound. When I look at this, I initially thought this was either a mock-up or a confirmed real image, I couldn't tell, of what the actual Switch 2 looks like and the Joy-Cons themselves. and it had this really cool X-looking texture on the back and these big Joy-Cons and all that stuff. But I actually have started to see people claiming that this is actually just another fancy covering for the Switch itself and the Joy-Cons, that it's not the actual thing. So either way, what I want to point out here, and just something that I personally like and get excited about, is that looking at these Joy-Cons in this image, that again I believe is a mock-up, these kind of more ergonomically fatter designed Joy-Cons here, like the back of it underneath the ZL trigger on the left side here, I think that maybe the ergonomic fatter portion for your hand is actually supposed to be the case and not the Joy-Con itself. But I love this. I would love to learn that this shape, this fatter shape, right, that kind of fits the adult human hand better, is actually how Nintendo has designed it, and that this covering isn't adding that fatter shape, that it's actually just covering the default fatter shape that Nintendo has created. If Nintendo has made the exact same tiny, skinny Joy-Cons, even if they're taller, if they're still the same flat, uncomfortable, non-ergonomic design, I will be very disappointed. When I saw these designs going out over the past few days, I got excited, hoping that Nintendo has actually designed the Joy-Cons in this more ergonomic fashion. Obviously, I love the look of the new triggers, the L and the ZL. I think that those look great. But I'm just hoping that this is some kind of an indicator that this isn't an accessory manufacturer fattening the Joy-Cons. I want Nintendo to have fattened the Joy-Cons and made them better for the adult human hand so that it's more comfortable. And then, of course, the other one is this C button that everyone is talking about, right? It's on the right Joy-Con, right? If you're holding it, it's the right Joy-Con. And it's underneath the home button, like I said at the beginning, and this seems to be something very universally discussed. All these different sources claiming specifications, they've got measurements, they've got the weight of the thing, the size of the screen, they're designing cases for it so they know all of this stuff, and everyone is saying that there's this C button underneath the home button. Okay, let's run with that like it's a fact, because there's a lot of people talking about it, so it's pretty close to being believable. What is this C button? So I won't claim to have any really strong opinions on it. Obviously, the first thing I think most of us would think of is a capture button like the current Switch has. But as many people have pointed out, the left Joy-Con appears to have the same existing capture button that we have on the current Switch, if these images are true. And so if that button on the left side is still the capture button, then on the right side, this C button, why would that mean capture? Some people think it means camera or chat or connect, like to connect to the internet or connect to another person. I mean, there's a lot of different things it could mean. Of course, there's the chance that it's not even really there. Maybe there is no C button and this is just all part of a smokescreen from all of this stuff. Who really knows? But it's fascinating. I like the idea of some sort of new functionality being added to an otherwise identical device that's just more powerful and bigger. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't have strong opinions or predictions on it right now because I want to wait to see if it's even real. But I find it interesting, and it's definitely a huge point of conversation right now. Actually, one more thing I want to talk about that's been a very consistent thing for many, many months now are these big buttons on the back of the Joy-Cons, the ones that I think we first saw images of in that CG CAD drawing a few months ago, and I covered it at that time. These have now shown up in all of the new mock-ups and all of the people discussing what they seem to see or know, and it kind of fits in with exactly what I've been talking about for many months, ever since we first saw it. It's pretty obvious that these are just a way to sort of separate or detach or eject the Joy-Cons from the Switch. I mean, the rumors about it being a magnetic connection system as opposed to a rail system, those go back to I think earlier this year. And so because of that, when I first saw these buttons many months ago in those CG CAD drawings, it was pretty obvious to me that that's what they were. And I think a lot of people kind of keyed in on the same thing because they're very weird, large buttons. They don't appear to be like a game function button. It's very obviously just a way to eject or detach the Joy-Cons. And they keep showing up. They've shown up on 3 or 4 of these mock-ups now. They're universally discussed. They're universally visible. So again, without being 100% fact, it's as close to confirmation as these things being real. These buttons probably exist, and I think they only exist because the magnetic system is real as opposed to the rail system. And so kind of the last discussion point here in this video is what Nintendo does with this and what do they think? Are they mad about this? Are they nervous about this? Are they sweating about it? Is all of this stuff either really accurate or accurate enough to make them nervous? And maybe they're like, oh my God, I can't believe D-Brand and all of these other companies are just allowing this stuff to get out there. They're willingly sharing it. They're not even trying to hide themselves. D-Brand is the example I use because they're the most public facing and the most blatant about the fact that they're like, yeah, this is what we've heard. This is what we've seen. This is our case because it's designed to the specifications of the factual unit. So if that's happening, why? Why are some of these companies so willing to do that and put their reputation on the line and potentially make Nintendo upset? And will Nintendo take any action? Or, as I said earlier in the video, is it all fake and wrong and inaccurate and Nintendo doesn't care because they know all of this is just crap? And I also want to go back to this point too and kind of end this video and conversation by saying, I'm not personally mad that Nintendo has taken so long to reveal this thing that now we're getting all of this stuff happening on the internet. But I am, as a game fan and a Nintendo fan, disappointed and a bit frustrated that it's taken so long, right? So disappointment and frustration are different than anger. I'm not angry. I don't think that they're getting what they deserve, so to speak. However, what's happening, I think, is what was always going to happen when you take as long as you've taken. It's their right to wait and take a long time. But in the age of the internet, even though I think it's lame, and I talked about it on a video recently, how much I don't like the internet being a part of the gaming culture nowadays, it simply is. And so the longer you take, the more this stuff starts to happen. And so now the messaging is getting confused. Now we don't know what to believe and what not to believe, which images are real, which ones aren't. Is all of this true? Is all of this fake? And what is Nintendo going to do about it? Are they going to adapt their scheduling and their game plan? Are we going to see the Switch 2 sooner than later? There's been discussion already for a few weeks that their plan is to reveal it in January. I think that makes sense. I think that it's made sense for quite a while. Even though I was holding on to hope for 2024 until about a month ago, I still was thinking if it's not 2024, January certainly makes sense. And so now people think maybe that's going to happen. But it's all speculation. We're just kind of reaching this fever pitch, this boiling point. And it's like, I don't know if Nintendo's loving that. They just like seeing us squirm. Or if they truly don't know what to do and stuff like this happens. And then they start scrambling behind the scenes and trying to adjust when necessary. And at this point, last point, Nintendo, the sooner you reveal this thing, the better. Forget the 2024 holiday shopping season. If you can reveal the thing next week in a 10-minute video presentation, man, just do it. Just frickin' do it. It's not going to hurt, and it's only going to help. Not only will it not hurt anything, I actually think it will actively help everything. It'll put all of these leaks and images and rumors to bed. You can show us the facts. None of your holiday sales are going to be impacted. We know it's backwards compatible. So for the rest of December, people can still buy Mario and Luigi and Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Mario Party and whatever they want, because the games will carry from Switch to Switch 2. Who cares about selling Switches at this point? Just reveal this thing. That's what I think. And if you don't do it this month, then yes, do it in January. Whether these rumors are true or not, you can just do it in January. And let's just cross this milestone, man. Let's just see the darn thing. I think that's where I'm at. I'm almost getting exhausted. That's why, as somebody who spent a couple of years talking about the Switch 2 pretty regularly, before most people were still focusing on the Switch Pro at the time I started shifting my conversations to Switch 2. But I've pulled back on that this year because I've gotten exhausted myself. But here I am now, 2 videos in a row talking about it. This is crazy. More leaks. There's going to be more crap next week. There just is. We're going to see more of it even next week or throughout the course of even this week. So hopefully we get something soon. These are my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. And that's about it.